In this episode of Banggood Stuff, I ordered a cheap function generator kit and we'll find out how easy it is to assemble and how it performs. The kit consists of a PCB and an IC, which is an ICL 8038 waveform generator. The kit also contains 2 screw terminals, a trimmer, a switch, a potentiometer, a few capacitors, and a bunch of resistors. Now let me quickly show you the PCB. The pads are clean and the solder mask doesn't have any bubbles underneath or other faults. The silk screen is sharp and overall it shouldn't be too hard to build this kit. Begin the build by soldering in all the resistors. Then add the diode. This part is polarized and you'll have to match the white line on the diode with the white mark on the PCB. After you're done, add the IC. Just make sure that all the pins are straight and put it in the right way around. There's a notch on the IC that needs to be matched up with the notch on the PCB. When that's done, solder in the switch and the LED. The LED is polarized too, and its shorter leg indicates the cathode, which needs to be matched up with the negative side on the PCB. Once you identify that pin, make sure to push the LED all the way in so it's flat against the circuit board. Proceed by adding the electrolytic capacitor next. You'll have to match the white line on the capacitor with the white area on the PCB. You'll also notice that the capacitor has a shorter leg too. It needs to go where the white area is. Make sure the capacitor is also soldered in flat against the board. Then add the 2 large trimmers. These are a bit weird, but you can't put them in the wrong way around. However, they are supposed to look like this, even though it looks funny. Next, add the unpolarized capacitors. It doesn't matter which way around you put these in. However, each of them has a marking on it, which indicates where to place them on the PCB. Match the number on the part with the one printed on the board. Once that's done, add the trimmer for the fine setting, followed by the large screw terminals. Just make sure to put them in the right way around. Add the large potentiometer for the coarse setting. Make sure to solder this one in good and finish it off by adding the plastic knob to it. And just like that, the build is done. Now let's test it. Start by adding the cables for the necessary connections. Supply 5 volts and then test the waveform it generates. Use the big potentiometer for the coarse setting and the switch for selecting either a high or low frequency mode. Use the trimmers for additional settings. Now let's do a quick recap and rate it. The kit contained all the parts necessary and all of them were of good quality. The PCB is well made and easy to understand and solder. The kit works right off the box and the generated waveforms are stable. Everything seems to work so far. However, the kit doesn't include a manual or other documentation, but like I said before, that's not a big deal because you can understand what to do without it. And that's essentially the only negative thing I have to say about this kit. Other than the missing manual, it's perfect and therefore I think it still deserves a 5-star rating, and I can totally recommend you get this kit if you want it.